You've seen the jar. Maybe on your feed. Maybe on your counter because you actually tried it. A mason jar. A couple inches of pink crystals in the bottom, filled with water, sitting overnight. In the morning, you spoon a little of the cloudy liquid into a glass of water and drink it before anything else. It's called soul water, pronounced soleil, and, depending on who's telling you about it, it will fix your energy, flush your toxins, balance your hormones, and hand you back the 84 minerals modern life stole from you. I'm going to tell you something you probably won't hear from anyone selling you a bag of pink salt. For most of you watching this, and I mean roughly 9 out of 10 drinking salt water every morning is not helping you. It's doing nothing at best. And for some of you, it's quietly working against the exact things you're trying to improve. But, and this is the part that makes this worth 14 minutes of your life, there is a real group of people for whom this genuinely, measurably matters. Not in a wellness influencer way. In a, your body is actually short on sodium right now way. And if you're in that group, and you don't know it, you've probably been blaming your afternoon headaches and that heavy, foggy, low battery feeling on everything except the thing that's actually causing it. So the question isn't, is salt water good or bad? That's the wrong question, and it's why every video on this topic contradicts every other one. The real question is, which one are you? By the end of this, you'll know exactly. First, let me be completely fair to salt, because sodium has spent 40 years as the villain of nutrition, and it does not deserve that reputation. Sodium is not junk. It is essential. Without it, you die quickly. Every single time a nerve in your body fires a signal, it does it by moving sodium across a cell membrane. Every time a muscle contracts, including the one in your chest, doing it right now, about once a second, sodium is part of the machinery. And sodium is the main thing that determines how much water your body holds and where it holds it. Here's the piece that matters most for this video. Water doesn't just go where you pour it. Water follows salt. That's basic chemistry osmosis. Where sodium goes, water follows to keep the concentration balanced. Sodium is the thing that holds the water in place. And that's the real logic behind the whole morning salt water idea. And I want to give it credit, because it's not stupid. It goes like this. You wake up mildly dehydrated. After 7 or 8 hours, without a sip, you lost water all night through your breath and your skin. Fair? That's true. Then, if you drink plain water on an empty, low-sodium morning system, a lot of it just runs straight through you. You're in the bathroom 20 minutes later, and you're not much more hydrated than when you started. Also true sometimes. So, add a little salt, and the water actually stays. It gets absorbed and held instead of flushed. That mechanism is real. It's genuinely how it works. That's why oral rehydration solutions, the ones that save lives in hospitals and refugee camps, are salt and sugar and water, not plain water. When someone is truly depleted, plain water alone is a bad tool. So, the theory is sound. The problem isn't the theory. The problem is that it's answering a question your body never asked. Because here's what almost nobody explains. Your body is not passively hoping you get sodium right. It is actively, aggressively managing it every second with a system that is far better at this than you are. Your kidneys are a sodium thermostat, and they are exquisite. Their entire job is to hold your blood sodium concentration inside a very narrow window and defend it against whatever you throw at them. Eat too much salt? Your kidneys dump the excess and you get thirsty, so you drink, and the concentration comes right back to normal. Eat too little? Your kidneys clamp down, hold on to nearly every molecule of sodium, and recycle it. There's an entire hormone system built for exactly this. Think about what that means. Sodium regulation isn't a leaky bucket you have to keep topping off. It's a thermostat with its own power supply. And you, standing there in your kitchen at 6 a.m., adding a quarter teaspoon of pink salt to a glass of water, are not helping the thermostat. The thermostat didn't ask. It's been doing this flawlessly since before you were born. Which brings us to the number that ends most of this conversation. Roughly 9 out of 10 Americans already consume more sodium than recommended every single day. Without trying, without a salt shaker, mostly from bread and sauces and restaurant food and packaged everything. The average person in this country is not walking around sodium depleted. They're swimming in it. So, picture it honestly. Your thermostat is working perfectly. Your intake is already above target, and the fix being sold to you is add more sodium on an empty stomach before anything else every day. That's not a hydration hack. That's adding water to a glass that's already overflowing and calling it a health ritual. Now let me take apart the two claims that sell this thing, because both of them fall apart the moment you look. Claim 1. Pink Himalayan salt contains 84 trace minerals your body desperately needs. This one sounds impressive, and it's technically true, and completely meaningless. Yes, unrefined salt contains trace minerals, magnesium, potassium, calcium, and a long tail of others. The word doing all the work in that sentence is trace. These minerals are present in amounts so small that to get a meaningful dose of any of them, you'd have to drink an amount of salt water that would genuinely make you sick long before you got there. The Cleveland Clinic has been about as direct as a medical institution gets on this. The very real risk of high sodium far surpasses the nominal addition of trace minerals. A single serving of spinach or a handful of almonds will hand you more magnesium than a lifetime of pink salt water. You're buying a rounding error and paying for it in sodium. Claim 2. It detoxifies you. No, just no. There is no evidence for this. There's no mechanism for it. And detox, in this context, isn't a real physiological category. You have a liver and 2 kidneys. That is the detox system. It's spectacular. And salt water doesn't assist it any more than a glass of orange juice assists your immune system by boosting it. When someone tells you a product flushes toxins and can't name a single toxin, that's marketing wearing a lab coat. And now the part I actually want you to hear, because this is where it stops being a silly internet trend and becomes something that can genuinely hurt someone. Remember, water follows salt, but run it forward. More sodium in your bloodstream pulls more water into your bloodstream. More water means more volume. More volume inside a fixed set of pipes means more pressure against the vessel walls. That is not a controversial claim. That's the whole reason high sodium intake is one of the primary risk factors for heart disease and stroke. For a healthy young person with normal blood pressure, a quarter teaspoon of salt is not going to hurt them. Their thermostat handles it, and life goes on. But if you have high blood pressure, or you're salt sensitive, where your body responds to sodium with a bigger pressure jump than average, or you have kidney disease, or heart failure, or you're on certain medications, then a daily morning sodium load is not a neutral wellness ritual. It's actively pushing on the exact number your doctor is trying to bring down. And the tragedy is, the people most likely to try aggressive wellness rituals are often the people already worried about their health. So, that's the case against 9 out of 10 of you. Skip it. Drink plain water. Your thermostats got it. But I promised you a twist, and here it is. Because there is a real group, and the internet is so busy either selling this thing or dunking on it, that almost nobody bothers to tell you which group you're in. Salt water genuinely helps when you are actually losing sodium faster than you're replacing it. That's it. That's the whole rule. And there are a handful of situations where that's real. 1. You sweat a lot. Not, I went for a walk. Sweat. Real sweat. Endurance training, long runs and rides, physical outdoor work, hot climates, saunas. Sweat isn't just water, it's salty, you can taste it. Research puts sodium losses somewhere in the range of a few hundred milligrams up to over 1,000 milligrams per liter of sweat, and that varies a lot person to person. Lose several liters over a long hot session. Replace it with plain water only, and you can genuinely dilute yourself. That's when the headaches, the cramping, the strange flat exhaustion show up, and it's not a lack of willpower, it's a lack of sodium. 2. You're low-carb, keto, or fasting. And this one is the most underrated thing in this entire video. When you cut carbs or stop eating, your insulin drops. And one of insulin's quieter jobs is telling your kidneys to hold on to sodium. Insulin falls. That signal goes away, and your kidneys start dumping sodium along with the water attached to it. That's the whoosh of weight people lose in the first few days of keto. It's also, in large part, exactly what people are describing when they say keto flu. The headache, the fatigue, the lightheadedness, the brain fog. That is not carb withdrawal. That's an electrolyte problem with a catchy name. If you're fasting or deep in low carb and you feel awful in the mornings, salt water isn't a wellness ritual for you. It's the actual fix. 3. You're recovering from something that emptied you out. Vomiting, diarrhea, a hard illness. Your body just lost fluid and electrolytes together, and replacing them together is genuinely the correct move. Though at that point, a proper rehydration solution beats a homemade jar. 4. You run low. Some people often lean, active, women more commonly. Sometimes, people with conditions like POTS genuinely tend toward low blood pressure and low blood volume, get lightheaded standing up, and are frequently told by an actual doctor to increase sodium. If that's you, this isn't a trend. It's a prescription you already have. Notice what all 4 have in common. In every single case, there's a real, identifiable reason. Sodium is leaving your body faster than normal. That's the entire test. If you can't name why you'd be losing extra sodium, you're not, and you don't need this. So if you're in that group, here's how to do it without being ridiculous about it. About a quarter teaspoon of salt in a decent-sized glass of water. 8 to 16 ounces, first thing. You don't need a jar sitting on your counter fermenting overnight. You don't need pink salt specifically. And you definitely don't need 84 minerals. Sodium chloride is sodium chloride. Your cells cannot tell where it was mined. Start small. It should taste faintly salty, like a weak broth. If it tastes like seawater, you've badly overdone it, and your stomach will tell you. And don't stack it. If you're already drinking sports drinks, or electrolyte packets, or eating a salty diet, you're double dipping. And the honest caveats. I'm not your doctor, and this isn't medical advice. If you have high blood pressure, kidney disease, heart failure, or you're on medication that touches your fluid balance, talk to your physician before adding a daily sodium load. Not because a quarter teaspoon is dramatic, but because your margin is different from mine, and they know your numbers. If you're pregnant, same. And if you try this and feel worse, puffy, or headachy, stop. That's information, not failure. So let's go back to that jar on the counter. Here's what it actually is. It's a real mechanism, correctly described, sold to the wrong 90%. Water really does follow salt. Sodium really is essential. Depletion really does make you feel exactly as bad as they say. Every individual fact in the pitch is true. It's just that the pitch skips the only question that matters. Are you depleted? Because most of you already have plenty. Doesn't sell bags of pink crystals. Your body has been running a sodium thermostat this whole time. And it's better at it than any morning routine. It doesn't need your help, unless you've given it a genuine reason to fall behind the sweat, the fasting, the illness, the low-pressure body, in which case, help it, deliberately, in a small dose, for a reason you can actually name out loud. That's the whole answer. Not, salt water is good. Not, salt water is a scam. Just know which one you are. And now you do.